Okay, Chaver, welcome back to Kuntres U'Mayan Maamer. We're going to be learning Perek Gimel today. And firstly, a quick recap of Perek Aleph and Beis. That we were discussing over here the two ways that Klippa receives Chayus. Because it doesn't really make sense. Why would Hashem allow Klippa to exist? It really shouldn't exist. All the bad stuff, all the terrorists, all the bad guys, they shouldn't exist. So there's two ways that they exist. And for this, we'd have to look at the pasuk that we were discussing about. In order to add from the thirsty to the full ones. Now remember, the thirsty are Kedusha, Neshamas Yisrael, that they're all thirsty for Hashem. And the full ones are Klippa, all the bad guys. They're full, they don't need Hashem in their lives. So there's two meanings of the word Safos. That it's in order to add, which Rashi says, because the first way Klippa gets Chayos is that it takes a little bit from Kedusha. It's added on to Kedusha. It connects to Kedusha. That Kedusha, you have good people who are connected to Hashem. And then the bad people kind of leech onto that and get a little bit of Chayas. That's the first way that Klippa gets Chayas. The second way is the Pirush of Radak, that he says Safos means to multiply, to make more. That the bad guys make more to the good guys. How does that make sense? How do the bad guys make more? That, maybe it's the opposite. How is it that they make more? That because the good guys receive directly from Hashem, and the bad guys, they can't receive from Hashem. According to the wisdom of Torah, according to Chachma, they can't get anything. They shouldn't exist. So rather, Hashem has to give them from a much higher place, from Rav Chesed, the place where everything is the same, and it doesn't make a difference whether they're doing good or bad. They have to get free handouts above and beyond this Shalshalos. And for that, they have a much more chayus in a way than Kedusha, which probably explains why if you use your Nefesh Bahamas out to serve Hashem, you'll get a lot further than if you use just your Nefesh Elikis. Now, in base, we discussed how everything is in accordance with a cheshbon. Everyone receives in a calculated manner. Anyone here get an allowance from the parents? No? Anyone here get Chanukah geld? Yeah, so how much Chanukah geld do you get this year, Menachem? I don't know, anyone. Whoever got the most. 300, oh my gosh. Okay, so that's a good example of chesed without any cheshbon. Fine, and Chaim, how much Chanukah geld did you get? $5? There we go. And there's a cheshbon, there's a reason. Your father probably decided. He has, how many kids are there in the family? Okay, great. Your uncle. So how many nephews does he have? Like a lot, probably. Nice. So he has to split it up. So he has a cheshbon. He has a calculated number. He has a number that makes sense to him. And according to that, he's going to split up how much he's giving. So the same thing, everything in the world, Hashem's giving according to a cheshbon calculation, which is according to Chachma. If you ever noticed that cheshbon and machshava both have the shoyrish cheshev. Ches, shin, base, because it comes from the same place. So you think to make a calculation. So Hashem makes a calculation in the world, and according to that is what you receive. And how does the calculation work? That there's the marshal of the potter's wheel. Remember, watch the video of the potter's wheel? That if you turn it a bit this way, then it kind of shaves off the one side. The potter has his hands on the pottery piece, and whatever way he tilts it, or wherever he touches it, that's going to form how it's shaped. So the same thing. That's a marshal for how Hashem gives to the world. Hashem has his hashpah from Chachma. Chachma decides how much are you getting from Chesed, how much are you getting from Gevurah, and that affects how we receive. Now, let's find out how this works in Gimel. You guys ready for Gimel? V'hinei, behold, hamanias atakola, what moves the pottery wheel around? And it literally just means it turns around the orbit. Meaning that it turns around this so-called pottery wheel. The wheel of fortune, if you want to put it that way. That's a good way to put it. You guys know the wheel, you guys know the niggin. And then the wheel of fortune went for a spin. You guys know that niggin about the rich man who thinks that he owns everything in the world and he's the best and everyone should honor him, and then the wheel of fate went for a spin, and before you knew it, he was a poor man. Anyhow, so what turns around the wheel of fate? Shiyah mishabech it'll follow him the Varnash, that it should be turned around in accordance with people's actions. So everything's fair, nothing's random. Hashem watches how you act, and according to that, He makes how the wheel of fate turns. So what causes that? What's in charge of that? What's the word again? What mechanics are in place here? Hu b'chinas kav hamidah. That is the measuring stick. Which means what? The chokmah of wisdom. Shumis habech is a galgal of that turns around the galgal, the circle of fate, according to your actions from below. Because according to chokmah is the measurement, it should be in such a way, davka. And specifically this way. Hainu, meaning that person should keep Torah mitzvahs. That Chokhmah says, the Chokhmah of Torah says, okay, you should keep mitzvahs. You should be very careful to stay away from bad and not doing any of the 3, 6, 5 no-nos. And all their offshoots. And you should do all the good things by keeping all the 248 good things to do and all their offshoots. So, according to Torah, there are things you should do and things you shouldn't do. Now, Hashem's always watching, are you doing those things or not? And according to that, is going to be how your life goes. If someone's doing everything good, then he's going to get the Chachma, he's going to say, okay, this guy should only have good things going on. If someone's doing the wrong thing, it should say, the Chachma would say, okay, maybe he should have not as much good things going on. Like we explained earlier in Maamer Zayin, that's why this is where the movement of the wheel of fortune comes from. If someone keeps Torah mitzvahs, oz, then to Kabbalah Malchus, makifim, Malchus, which is the way that Hashem gives to the world and relates to the world, that receives from Kavim, the right side, which is Chesed, which is kindness. And then the person will be getting lots of good stuff, good health, wealth, donuts on Hanukkah, all the good stuff. So that way, Hashem will deal with him in the way of Chesed. And if Chas v'Shalom, the generation is not fitting, then Hashem will relate in the way of Gvur, in the way of a strict way, a way of you get what you deserve. $5? No. Getting, no. Chanukah geld in the way of Gvura is when you get one pyre of chocolate coin. Fine. The melted one, there we go. And when you open it before it's unmelted, so it kind of goes everywhere, you know? The donuts from the kitchen area in 770. So this is what it means, the calculation. But based dvarim, there are two calculations going on. You ready for here? Who's good at maths? You ready for these two calculations? Ha'alef, boivdei and dvarnas, is one calculation of Hashem's watching how people act. Lamata, down here, im mukhshar ma'aseyem alpi hamadid dechachmas Torah. Are their actions good according to the measurement of the wisdom of Torah, not according to the measurement of the wisdom of other people? Stam, I once saw a sikha of the Friedrich Rebbe. The Friedrich Rebbe said we have to do mitzvahs, but real mitzvahs, not what people say mitzvahs are. You know, it's like people say like it's a big mitzvah to to plant trees. People like say like, oh wow, that's a big mitzvah. Do a mitzvah. You know, anyone have any good examples? Do a mitzvah and make your bed. Okay, maybe if you're at home and it gives your mother nachas, it might be a mitzvah. But over here, making your bed's a good thing. It's not a mitzvah. A mitzvah is like giving tzedakah, putting on tefillin. Do a mitzvah and brush your teeth. Maybe if your mother asks you to brush your teeth, that'll be a mitzvah. But anyhow, so are you doing what's right according to Torah? That's cheshbon number one. So everything's being weighed up. It happens on Rosh Hashanah. It happens every day. All of a person's actions are weighed on a scale. All the good things you do and all the not good things you do. And obviously someone like Chaim does more good things. So he's going great. And therefore it kicks in the second cheshbon. You ready? Cheshbon number 2. Cheshbon, the calculation, about how chesed and gvura should be mixed together. So chesed is kindness, is giving more and more. Gvura is being strict, severity. And how are they going to be mixed together? Because no one gets fully chesed or fully gvura. You know, fully chesed is kind of dangerous. That's like the guy sitting in the back of McDonald's just eating like for the last 30 years. He hasn't moved from his seat. too much chesed. It's unlimited chesed. He's just getting more and more and more. Because he's getting too much. Then Gevura, ultimate Gevura...
is giving people money that you don't have.
One second. Chesed just means giving. When Hashem gives chesed, it means more, a lot. Whatever you want. Like we spoke about the generation of the flood, that they did all bad things, but they just got whatever they wanted and they lived for long lives. Then Gevura is very, very strict. Gevura is going to be some guy in North Korea who's been walking in a straight line for his entire life because that's the rule. You know? That's ultimate Gevura. So Hashem doesn't give anyone 100% chesed, 100% Gevura. It's mixed together. Some people a bit more chesed, some people a bit more Gevura, and we always hope that Hashem is going to give us a bit more chesed with just enough Gevura to make it doable. It's like winning the lottery, by the way. Have you thought about it? So many people buy lottery tickets. Hashem has all the money, and Hashem could give you money however he wants. But it seems like Hashem doesn't often choose to give people money based on lottery winnings. I don't know, how many people have you heard of that won lottery? Not very many. More people.
Someone said, I don't know who, they said like lottery is one of the ways Hashem will give you money, but I offered like buying one on like a few tickets is like you would be too attached to it.
Yeah. So I was thinking that maybe Hashem doesn't give people... How many people does Hashem give money through a business, and how many people does Hashem give money through a lottery? A lottery is a few people. Business is most people. So I don't think Hashem wants to give you money through a lottery, because a lottery winning is just like full-on chesed. It's just like, surprise, you just have $100 million. And a lot of people, having all that money, it kind of ruins their life. Having it all of a sudden, they don't know what to do with it. They're irresponsible with it. They start having fights with their friends and families. They start being worried that no one cares about them, is only there for their money. They start spending it like a maniac, and before you know it, they have less than when they started. As opposed to Hashem giving chesed with some gevura, that you have to work hard, but you get a bit more money now and a bit more later, and you appreciate it, and you invest it wisely, and you learn slowly to deal with other people, then it's in a sustainable way. So everyone wants chesed, just with enough gevura to make it doable. So Hashem has to decide how much to pour into each other. You guys ever drank, you ever see guys mix vodka with Benedictine? Benedictine is like syrup. It's very, very sweet. Vodka is very, very sharp. So people mix them together. Some people like it a bit more sweet. Some people like it a bit more sharp. But you mix them together and they say, shouldn't mix it together. They usually say this is Skalulus Chesed Gevura. Putting together the Chesed and the Gevura. Fine. So Hashem decides the second cheshbon is, now that we've figured out your actions, how much good you did and how much not good you did, now let's decide how we should mix together your chesed and your gevura. Should we give you a bit more good or be a bit more strict? You ready for this? If there's more from the right side, the good side, if there should be more giving to you from kindness, or more giving to you from the opposite. It's very interesting. The Rebbe Rashab here, he doesn't want to say anything bad. So he says, or, God forbid, etc. He just puts out etc. You notice that? He only wants to point out the good. I was watching a video the other day of some guy, I think he was a Breslover Chassid. He was giving a shiur about speech, and he was talking about how powerful speech is. And he talked about how words can destroy things, and can destroy your life, can destroy other people's lives. And I found it very distasteful. I thought, like, maybe we should focus on how words can lift people up, and can make someone's life, make someone's day. Anyways, there's two sides to the coin. They're both true, but you could focus on either one. This is what it says. The Mishnah in the Mishnah, you ready for the Mishnah from Pirkei Avos? We started learning Pirkei Avos recently, yeah? V'dai, you should know that everything is according to a calculation. Yep. Everything you're doing is being watched and recorded, and everything's according to a very specific calculation. Everything in life is fair. Hashem's watching everything you do, and according to what you do is what Hashem gives you. Yep. Pirish Rashi, and Rashi explains, Achas la'achas limtzoi cheshbon. One together with another one will find the calculation. What does that mean? Pruta, 1 penny and another penny, Mr. Efes l'cheshbon gadol. They add up to a big cheshbon. So let's say you do a mitzvah here, you give a penny to tzedakah today, then you help someone cross the street, then you clean up your room because your mother asked you, then you go and learn a little bit of Torah, then you learn a bit more Torah, then you put another penny in tzedakah. Altogether, it adds up to a big calculation. And why are we pointing out calculation here? Because remember, cheshbon is our code word for the way that Hashem measures your life. The measuring stick of your life. Similarly, there's a cheshbon to the opposite. There's an opposite cheshbon. If someone's doing the wrong things, it can add up. Oh, like it says in the Gemara. Al pasuk, on the pasuk of Magid la'adam ma'asichui. They tell over to a person what is his word. So here we're going to speak about the power of speech. That's funny. We're just speaking about it. You ready for this? Even over little words, like for example, when someone speaks with his wife. So that's going to be something personal or private. It's not like someone making an announcement. You would think what words are important. When you make an announcement in shul, if you embarrass someone publicly, that's going to be important. Or if you honor someone publicly, that's going to be important. Even the little words that someone speaks between something private between him and his wife. What happens with that? That's considered Averis Dosh Ba'Kovov. The Averis that someone tramples with their heel. Averis people ignore. Oh, if I say a bit of Lashon Hara to my wife, if I say something nasty to my wife, it doesn't really matter. If I say something nice to my wife, it doesn't really matter. By the way, those are the ones that matter the most. Just to keep that in mind. All that comes according to the calculation. Everything's kept in mind. Hashem doesn't ignore it. So you have to be careful with everything you do. It's all added up. Every good thing matters. Every not good thing matters. I just want to say about this that my sister and brother-in-law made a documentary. I don't know if you guys seen it, Outback Rabbis. Everyone should definitely watch it, but you guys shouldn't watch it. And no, it's made for a different type of crowd. Your guys aren't going to find it interesting. Anyways, they made a documentary of how they travel around Australia and find Yidden to do Torah mitzvahs. So they filmed for 3 weeks. So at some point, over 3 weeks, you're mic'd up the whole time. They forgot their mics are on. So they were sitting around and joking around.
It's part of that.
What?
What you're talking about.
This?
Yeah.
What I'm talking about?
Yeah, well, what was going to happen.
No. So they were sitting joking around and they were saying some silly things. And then they realized the mic was on. It would be kind of embarrassing if all the like random things they were talking about were in it. So they had to ask them to delete a little bit. So, okay. 1 second, I need to adjust my mic. So what do we see from all this? We see that a little bit of talking, words are very, very important. Now that we figured out that everything you say adds up and everything you do adds up to making a big difference in the cheshbon, meaning Hashem takes note of everything you do, and according to that, Hashem makes how you're going to receive, whether you're going to receive more goodness in your life or less goodness. Some explain the Mishnah no, everything's according to a cheshbon. Let's say there's two people who do one sin. Their punishment and also the damage they cause is not the same. Why? According to the greatness and the preciousness of the level of the neshama of this one, his effect, the bad he'll do, will be more more than his friend. So let's say you have some guy down the street, some dude, his name is John, and he goes into a 7-Eleven and steals a chocolate bar. I was once some Mitzrayim outside a corner store somewhere in Brooklyn, and I think it was in Greenwich Village actually. And this guy some dude who had his shirt off and was screaming at cars. So Meshugana, he ran into a corner store and he ran out holding a chocolate bar. Okay, he stole a chocolate bar. It's not good. It's not good. No one's going to make a massive deal about it. Now imagine if the president or the minister of culture, the minister of finance, runs into a 7-Eleven and steals a chocolate bar. It's going to be on the front page of every newspaper. Because someone who's at a higher level, a higher rank, is expected to act better. So the same thing over here. This guy's expected to act better. So everything we spoke about is within Ishtalshus. According to Ishtalshus' levels, what you do makes a difference to how Hashem relates to you. The cheshbon, the calculation, and the judgment that comes from Chachma, which is the beginning of Ishtalshus. Aval, however, you ready for the punchline? Mitzad Orin Sui, from Hashem's infinitude. Shalamayim Ishtalshus. The Bav Ishtalshus, Sham Ein Din V'cheshbon. There's no judgment, there's no calculation. Why? L'fisha Ein Tev is Mokim Ma'aseh Tachtonim Nimshchu Hashpa, Gam Le'evi Ritzonim B'ri B'Hashpa, Shlei Pi Cheshbon Klal. Because the Bav Ishtalshus, what people do doesn't make a difference. So whether you do good or not good, Hashem just gives even to bad guys, infinite amount. So when you're within Ishtalshus, everything comes whatever you deserve. And everything you do matters. Above Ishtalshus is a place where it's above what you do. It's above mattering. It's above the world. So even a bad guy can get just as much as a good guy. This is the reason. This is the reason why sometimes good things happen to bad people. The way of bad people is successful. Why? Because Hashem, He delays His anger. What does that mean? Ma'irich comes from erech apayim, which is Hashem's, literally means patience, but it means Hashem's chesed. It's above His shalshlus. It's above the calculations. Hashem gives them even when they don't deserve it. Hashem gives them extreme amounts, infinite amounts. You don't deserve anything, but you receive from the infinite. And therefore you receive infinite good. Sometimes you have a gangster who's worth millions of dollars because he receives from the infinite and he receives infinite goodness. Kitzer, and we're finished. To Nuas that the kol yamin, how does the pottery wheel turn to the right? When good things happen, chesed means it's going to be more to the right. Left is more gvura. It's a specific calculation. Aleph, mitzvahs, according to number one, how much Torah mitzvahs you keep. Beis, even scholars the chug. Secondly, according to how much Hashem decides to mix the chesed and gvura together. And the cheshbon of keeping your Torah mitzvahs for hafku. Who and the opposite, who lefi cheshbon apratis shel neshama. It's according to your specific cheshbon. What someone else does doesn't make a difference to you because everyone's different. But bad people can have good things because they receive from above ishtalshus. And we're going to explain tomorrow more about how bad things can happen to good people.